Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddled Up Films. And today we're going to be talking about Coach Keith Williams and how he could actually be the most important addition the Ravens have had this offseason. And joining me today, person that out of the flock knows more about Keith Williams than anybody, I brought in my buddy Knox from Ravens Elite. Knox, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Jason. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. And you just started a podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about that and let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, me and my friend Jamil, football weather, is known as on Twitter handle. We started a podcast called Ravens Elite Football Weather Podcast. And the podcast is just it's just informing Ravens fans, educating the Ravens community, just about all the additions, team analysis, things that we see, and giving our perspective, just giving fans a new perspective on how they should look forward to the season coming up. And yeah, man, I mean, it's great. We kicked off our first episode Monday, and we're pretty much every Monday at 4 p.m. We'll be dropping an episode. So we just kicked off the Keith Williams episode, so now we're just gonna keep building from there, keep
Nice.
providing
And
quality.
I listened to the Keith Williams episode earlier today, and
Oh, you did?
me and you have talked, off camera. Me and Knox talk all football all the time. So if it's a little bit casual, that's why. I mean, this is my guy. So
Right.
but
Yeah,
I
man.
encourage you guys to listen to Knox and Jameel, and I'll have your links down in the description of the video. But let's jump into it because we want to keep this short and sweet. Um,
Right.
what about Keith Williams as far as like his history? Because a lot of people don't know. They know about he came from Nebraska, but where did he coach before that, and what's his resume look like?
Yeah, he started his coaching career at Solano College in Northern California in the early 2000s. And then from 2001 to 2004, he coached at San Jose State. He joined that coaching staff and coached the wide receivers for 4 years. And under his leadership, the Spartans receivers ranked him on San Jose State's all-time leaders in receiving yardage. So I feel like that was, for him to be early on in his career, already achieving those type of accolades is already, astounding to hear. And then from there, I mean, he went to San Jose City College and been a wide receiver coach as well as an offensive coordinator. 2009 to 2011, he linked in with Fresno State, coached the wide receivers there. Same place that Devontae Adams was at. And he joined there. And during that time, the Bulldogs made two appearances, two bowl appearances in Williams' 3 seasons there. From there, he went to Tulane, spent three seasons as the wide receiver coaches there. And then 2015 to 2017, which as everybody knows commonly, he's been in Nebraska.
Right.
And he mentored the Cornhusker wide receivers. So, I mean, he's done great, man. I'm just really proud of, the Ravens just stepping out on faith and just making a bold move like this. I don't think a lot of people would be, kind of skeptical bringing a guy from college. But when you look at his resume, I mean, his resume speaks to his body of work.
Well, one of the things I like about Coach Williams is he works with the superstars. They come to him to work in the off season,
Exactly.
and that's the kind of thing that commands respect. I mean, if I'm a young receiver and I see that Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and these guys, Sammy Watkins, pay him and spend the off season with him working on their game, then I mean, my ears, I'm going to be listening to whatever Coach Williams has to say. So
Right.
just respect alone, that's why I love this move, respect alone. And then also as a Ravens organization, Knox, we've developed just about every other position, undrafted free agents, late
Mm-hmm.
round picks, everywhere
Right.
else on the field
Undrafted, yeah.
except for wide receiver. The wide
Mm-hmm.
receivers, the ones where everybody we pick seemingly, other than Torrey, I would say Torrey pretty much performed like a second round pick,
Right.
somewhere
Right.
around there. But I mean, everybody else from early round guys, the first round guys to the late round guys, we're not finding the gems that other teams seem to. And we got Pittsburgh in our division who are one of the best at it.
Right. Yeah, I think that was the biggest issue coming into this offseason is just the offense. For so many years, everything's been predicated around the defense. And defense, we got to build around defense. And then you see Eric DeCosta take this approach and just the front office in general. Get him some protection, and then bring in, two world-renowned coaches. If I don't know if you've heard it, but Keyshawn Williams advocated for Keith Williams,
Hmm.
and he said, and if if you can get Keyshawn to advocate for you, you're doing something right. So he's advocated for Keith Williams, saying that the Ravens got one of the best in the NFL when he's coming from college, and that's a direct quote for him. So I think that whole developmental stigma that has been on the Ravens forever, that knock on our wide receivers, I think we're gonna look to erase that this year.
Well, good, because off season time is time for hype. You're going to hear good things about everybody, how they're reporting in shape and that kind of thing. But with Coach Williams in particular, I've heard too many things from too many places to not buy into it. Number one, from the defensive backs. When Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters are talking about, hey, we got something over on that side of the ball. Look at Coach Williams. It's like, they're asking you questions about defensive backs and they're talking about our receivers. And then,
Right.
of course, his relationship with Sammy is one of the probably one of the main reasons Sammy signed here. And then when I
Hmm.
look at DaCosta himself, Knox, like we have spent so many resources on speed guys and size guys. This
Hmm.
draft right here, we drafted route runners. There's no better route runner in the draft than Bateman. Wallace is up there
Exactly.
with a route runner too. So it seems to be like
Exactly.
a change in philosophy as far as like how we're going to attack the wide receiver position.
Yeah, it's definitely you. You see it. It's just a whole new attitude. These guys come in there ready to work. Even guys that that were on the team last year are starting to get some praise from Jalen Moore, a guy who was on the team that not too many people known about, and now you hear Marlon Humphrey talking about him. So you clearly see that the the issue wasn't with the wide receivers. It was just making sure you have the right guys in that position group to coach them. And I like you already alluded to, man, when you bring in a guy like Sammy Watkins, a veteran, who's been to the Super Bowl twice and won one, that already shows that, oh wow, like we can do that too. That's a good leader to follow. I would want a vet that's already accomplished one of the biggest accolades in the game that you can get. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's why everybody plays the game for sure, man. They
Yeah.
want that. They want that shit for sure. But
Yeah.
the other thing I wanted to talk about with Coach Williams is the route running in particular and the drills that he does,
Hmm.
because some of my viewer might know I played safety, but I also
Right.
played some wide receiver. And let me tell you, when I was facing the guys from out your part of Baltimore, it was a challenge because I wasn't nearly as big or as fast as those guys. I relied
Right.
on route running. Like, what do you think
Hmm.
if you had to rank route running among like the skills that a receiver would have? Would you put that near the top with like hands as far as where how do you think route running affects your average receiver?
Yeah, I think route running is. Definitely you put that into the top. I think obviously the second, in my book, obviously you have to have that mentality to be a wide receiver before anything else. You have to make sure that you fit mentally. You're able to perform in that position. So I think that was also a big thing. And then once you get route running down, you want to get open. If you look at Sammy Watkins' press conference, he was saying, the biggest thing on our wide receivers last year that he's seen from his perspective is that guys weren't getting open. And, the catalyst for getting open is route running. That's just what it is. If you can't beat your guy one on one and you can't win these one on one matchups, then it's going to make for a tough transition to the NFL and just in games. And then that's where our biggest thing, came from. Guys just weren't getting open. And I feel like with Keith Williams, he really hones in on the fundamentals, guys being technically sound and get just the basics. If guys can just learn the basics and learn how to apply certain techniques. I had one of his guys from the Nebraska 7-on-7 Elite, as in seven, they call him seven there, Seven Evans. He's talked about, the role that he's played and just showing him how to break down in his routes. And, just showing like, that right there already shows me like if a guy like that, of that young age can comprehend that, then that shows me that, wow, just imagine what he can do with our wide receivers. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So yeah, I put route running up there.
I think fans would love to follow Coach Williams on Twitter. What is it
Yeah.
at Wideouts? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. It's wide. It's at wideouts 5. So yeah, I think that's instead of the S, it would be a 5. But yeah, it's
I
at
got you.
wide out it's 5. So
But
yeah,
what I was saying that for is, man, he's like he comes across as like an inspirational person. Like he's talking
right.
about being your own critic, working a little bit better every day. Like he really
Hmm.
seems to follow and not follow, but fit in well with like a Raven or a Harbaugh type mentality, where it's like, hey man, this ain't your job. This ain't your. I mean, this is your job. This ain't for fun. This is a craft. I've heard him use the word
Right.
craft a lot.
Hmm.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about with Coach Williams before we wrap things up today?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that, people are undervalue is, like I spoke on earlier, is the mentality of being a wide receiver. And certain times, to get that point across, you have to use certain methods. Every coach has their different methods. But with Keith Williams, he uses these relatable analogies. You'll see it all on his Instagram, which is coach underscore dub. And he has all these analogies that he uses that are relatable to wide receivers. So that's another big thing when you looking at coaching a new coaching acquisition. How will guys be able to learn and understand these concepts and just knowing perform the task at hand? And I think he does it better than any wide receivers coach that I've seen. As just the ability to relate to his players.
Yeah, and I think I said in the beginning that he might be the most important acquisition the Ravens have, and the reason for that is he's not just one. He's one person physically, but he
Right.
affects a bunch of people, like our whole
Yeah.
group. Imagine if Hollywood takes a step up. Imagine if Wallace and Bateman develop
Hmm.
fast. Imagine if we can keep Sammy healthy because the Ravens strength and conditioning programs among the best. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of upside to be had if we can get the best Sammy Watkins alone. I mean that would be huge
Yeah.
for this team. And the
Yeah.
quicker Bateman's able to develop, the better. And I think he's like with and Wallace being natural route runners, like a speed aside, they can know how to set up people. Coach Williams is going to be the kind of coach to get the best out of him.
Yeah, he gets the best out of his players. That's the one thing that I mean I would say over and over again. You look at a young guy like Mikey Hunter Jr. A guy that's a part of that Nebraska 7-on-7 elite program that I was mentioning earlier, along with Seven, and Coach Evans and all those guys down there, man, are part of that organization. Does great. I mean, does great, and they speak high volumes of Keith Williams. And not only has he changed, that those guys or part of that team, but a generation. I mean, you see it, man. You see it transcending from Devontae Adams to Tyreek Hill to Sammy Watkins. It's just a great thing to think. Even Zach Pascal, which for the Colts,
Right.
and a lot of people don't know he doesn't train. He trains him as well. So yeah, it's been good addition having him here.
Yeah, so I encourage you guys to follow Knox. I encourage you guys to follow Jameel and the Football Weather and their podcast, and also Coach Williams himself, because you'll see a lot of the things that he does is impressive. You'll see the message the mindset that Knox is talking about that he instills in his wide receivers. So it's a move that I really wanted to have Knox on to talk about, and one that I'm really excited about. But with that said, I just wanted to thank you guys for joining us again. I'm going to have Knox back if he'll be back with me, and we'll talk about some more Ravens football. Knox, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome, man. Anytime, Jason. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, I love you, brother. Take care. All right.
Love you too, man. All right, buddy.